Hey, I'm Dustin. Um, I live in the DFW Metroplex. I'm former military, and I'm preparing for the zombie apocalypse. Right now, we're going to go over my bug out bag. Give me a second. It's right here. I have a few things here in this zombie bug out bag. Primarily, it's going to be food, medical supplies, clothing, extra ammo, and just anything that you might want to think of. Poncho. It also has its own water supply, by the way. I would highly suggest investing in it. It's 2 quarts of water, plus you can carry, here it is, an extra 1 quart inside, and or attach another 2 quart canteen to the outside because of the molly mesh on the outside. But carry things such as the MRE inside, which if you have to, you can make last for 3 days. Wouldn't suggest it, but you can. Should you have to, carry 1 or 2 inside your bag. Carrying spare boots, clothes, socks. Taking care of your feet is very important, especially if you're going to be on the move a lot. So I would highly suggest it. Also, survival books, anything that you might need to identify in the wilderness should you not stay in urban areas. I would highly suggest you carry 1 as well. Alright, now you saw my bug out bag. We're going to go to the next phase, weapons.
Alright, I'm going to join in for this one. Guys, Shaun of the Dead, as always, ready for the zombie apocalypse. As you notice, I got my trucker's friend right here, ready to rock. Got my AR-15, dual mag setup. We'll go from 1 mag straight to the other mag. So that way I can carry 60 rounds to kill a zombie right here. Of course, like always, I load my quick attach so I can set it off to the side whenever need be. Trucker's friend, a couple of little twists. It's out, ready for some action. Okay?
This right here is the Mini 14. It's clear. Always make sure you clear your weapons before you pass them off to somebody.
Yeah, the good thing about this is since he's using a Mini 14 and I'm using an AR-15, since this is a Rancher model, this actually uses 5.56 NATO and 223 also, the same as any military forces uses 5.56 NATO. So this is a Rancher. In the tactical version, check out the Google website and they'll let you know what the calibers are. The target version only carries 223.
Right, now something else you might want to notice, and it's a mod, but it has the railing system on here. So right now it has a 4x zoom scope on it, but you can slide pretty much anything that has a rail on here, you can put on here, all the way up to a 12, I believe.
Yeah, actually I have a 3x13, and I think I may be switching off to for those longer range shots.
Alright, now he showed you all of his fun toys and or self-defense. This right here is an M&P 40. I generally keep it preferably loaded with federal hydroshock rounds. Best stopping power against flesh. Now, wise thing to do considering you may have targets. Every other round happens a hydroshock, but keep ball rounds available. Preferably full metal jacket ball rounds. I've also got a K-bar on this side, right here. Best friend, even to a combat soldier. These things are durable. Carrying a couple extra magazines. On top of that, I keep a boot knife. Doesn't look like much, but you jam it in somebody's eye socket, it's going to get the point across. And lastly, if all else fails, go to something that doesn't run out of ammo.
Yeah, see, this is where you're going to see a variance of opinions because I'm very anti-sword. I like bashing tools. I want to crush a head. I don't want to take any chances on getting anything stuck. And if I happen to miss this and get it stuck in a socket. I just don't like the idea of that. So I just want to bust its head open and go on about my business.
Well, see, that's when you bring in weapons such as this. This is made of stainless steel from an 18-wheeler mold. I made it myself. Don't ask. Long story. Point being is, you want to bash, you can bash. You want to slash, you can more than gladly accommodate. Stabbing, on the other hand, I didn't want to.
So yeah, so you got Trucker's Friend versus Big Mega Sword. So, you know, against people, I like swords. I'm not saying that a sword can't kill zombies. I'm just saying I prefer something that's going to have a blunter trip to it.
Well, to be honest with you, if it comes down to me having to use this, I already know I'm screwed. I'm going to just try and take as many of them as I can.
So, if you notice, we're both wearing comms. As I've said in previous videos, it's always important to make sure that you have a comm. He does have a tether for his. He has a sling for his firearm. A sling for mine. You always want to make sure you should keep your friends close and your firearms closer.
Always within arm's reach, never further.
Now, this one, for instance, I went ahead and have the extended mag in here. My Glock 17, so this is a 31 round mag. Of course, I have a couple backup mags here, a couple backup P-mags right here. They are 15. So, you know, it just depends on what you want to use them for. So if you run blind your first ones, you can always go to something for backup.
And one last piece of advice, when you are using your primary weapon, try to keep count of how many rounds you're firing and how many you have loaded in your magazine. When you run short, down to the last 3 to 5 rounds, switch to your sidearm. Shoot your sidearm down until it's empty, then switch back to your primary. It buys you some time, reload-wise, because they're going to assume that your primary was out of ammo at that point. Because it's not only zombies you're going to have to be dealing with; it's other people who are dealing in a panic. They don't know what's going on. They're not prepared for it. They didn't even think it was possible.
All right. Now, there's some certain topics that people are wanting us to discuss. So I actually have a list here of some special topics. So let's go ahead and go over these special topics. We already went over the bug out bag. That was one of the things we were talking about. Now, we want to know how specifically have we been preparing for a zombie apocalypse?
Oh boy. Well, there's a lot of things that we've been doing specifically. I mean, MREs, we've been collecting those. Again, lifesaver. Not always they're not the greatest cuisine out there, but they will keep you alive. Keeping, an actual bug out bag prepped, ready to go. Something that you can grab in a hurry. And you know where it's at all times. Being properly packed in your bug out bag. Talking with friends, prepping, knowing where to meet each other should you not be in the same place when it does happen. Communication is always going to be key in that. And when you're with a good group of friends or family, and you're tight-knit, that communication is already going to be there. It's going to be natural.
Yeah, and like you said, and then of course another thing was asking about a role-playing game, and that's actually part of our preparing process. Not only is he former military, competition shooter, he's martial arts instructor. So between my martial training and my firearm training and his military training, we've got some of the physical side down. Well, now you have to set up the mental side of it. You have to try to think outside the box, because the zombie apocalypse is not something that they train you for. It's something that you have to train yourself for. You have to come up with your own solutions to certain problems. Your ways to creatively get in and out of certain areas, or try to bug out. How long should you stay bugged in before you decide to bug out, or should you try to bug out immediately? It's all these different scenarios that we run over in game format, and we play ourselves static generally as ourselves. So that way you kind of roll around as you would be in real life. And I tell you what, all this stuff looks really cool. All this stuff is really, very cool.
It weighs a lot.
It weighs down.
And it encumbers you. It encumbers your movement. No offense, John, has a hard time bending over wearing all of his gear. I can have all of my stuff on and still manage to bend over.
Yeah.
But that's our differences in opinion on what gear is needed. I prefer to travel light so I can move quick if I have to. He doesn't like the idea of having to run too much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a tank. You know, he's a Humvee. I'm a tank. That's just how it is. So, and that's the cool thing is you have to know your role in the pack. It's like I know I'm not the fast and nimble guy. That's his job. If somebody needs to run over someplace, jump up on a ladder and pull themselves up and get a good bird's eye view with some binocs, that's going to be him. If you need somebody that's going to sit there and hold a position down for long periods of time, and not care about just sitting there and popping zombie after zombie after zombie, hey, I'm your man. I mean, I don't mind that. If you need a little extra weight to get behind it and something to get into a door, I'm okay with that too.
Hey, you gotta have somebody to kick in a door, man.
The
bigger the guy, the bigger the boot. Most of the time, that's not always true.
And again, if my boot's not big enough, I do have a pry bar.
So we got shotguns too, floating around here somewhere.
So, but yeah, I mean, this is some of the basic stuff we have. So, but being prepared is a lot of different things besides just physical things. It's also very, very mental preparedness. And it's thinking outside the box. And like you said, knowing what to have in your bug out bag is extremely important. As I said in multiple other videos, whenever you have your bug out bag is like real estate in New York and LA. It is prime real estate. You only want the most important things in your bag.
Absolutely, and you don't want it to weigh too much because then it's going to be too much. It's going to get in your way. You don't want it so much to get in your way, but to be you're home away from home. You want to be able to take it with you wherever you can go without it slowing you down.
And one good way of doing that, I have a buddy, actually a mutual friend of ours, actually a guy that actually introduced us to each other. He has a philosophy: buy once, cry once. Meaning that if you're going to buy some gear, if there's a knife that you want, and that knife is like several $100s, like $200 or $300 knife, buy it. Don't buy a $50 knife to take its place. Buy once, cry once, because you never need another knife. So
you get what you pay for.
Yeah. So make sure your gear is lightweight gear, something that's going to be durable, something that you can always buy like the titanium version of something instead of the stainless steel version of something. So that way you always have the lightest possible gear. So that way you can move, and not get tired. I mean, I'm actually getting ready to switch off from my vest system because it is summertime now, and I'm ready to switch over to a load bearing vest system.
I was actually about to bring that up. Try and make sure you get gear that breathes. Also, plan for the season that you're in. You never know when it's going to happen. I tend to try and make sure inside my bug out bag I keep, some type of jacket, a fleece, something that'll help keep me warm should the weather change on me.
And I'm grabbing my next thing real quick. Okay, here's my LBV that I was talking about. I went old school with it. I went with the Alice LBV, the blue bearing vest, as I did with my bug out bag.
This happens to be the Molly. It usually comes in ACU or the newer camouflage. But this is the BDU version. This is the newer stuff. He went old school.
Yeah, I went real old school. I kind of like the old school, It's all good. So anyway, we have a couple more questions, it looks like. Let's see. It's, how do you think the zombie apocalypse outbreak will happen? Give us details, where, when, how, what will zombies look like, etc. Okay.
Well, while I can't necessarily tell you where or when, I can tell you more than likely how. I mean, go look at the CDC website, for instance. They have a zombie apocalypse plan on the CDC website. That's government run. So obviously they're already playing with stuff that they know can cause it. So I'm going to go with government.
And as you can see from some of my previous videos, I agree with him. It's going to be government. Whether it's going to be an inoculation or a super soldier serum or a biological weapon against an enemy threat, It's going to be something that's going to be injected or sprayed or whatever, and people are going to start to turn into zombies because it is going to be a viral / chemical warfare device or inoculation.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're in agreement on it's going to come from the government in some manner.
You know, they may have meant it as a joke, but I highly doubt it. CDC takes that stuff way too serious.
Yeah. But stick. You know. So that's kind of how you think it's going to be. Now let's see here.
Again, we can't say the when or the where. That's kind of a hard one to call.
Yeah, when and where to me is, you know.
I mean, it showed up on CDC's website, what, 2-3 years ago? So it can't be too massively far off. CDC's already aware of, hey, this is a possibility. Let's make it
Yeah, and the bath salt in Florida? Yeah, bath salt, that's it. Not zombies or anything. I believe actually one of the guys that was actually accused of being on drugs was actually cleared of all drug interaction. Said he was completely sober. Maybe mentally ill. I don't know.
I'm not going there.
But
I've met some crazies.
But it sounds like a zombie behavior to me. So there's that. Let's see here. We have a couple of other things here. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. This is a good one. Why are we at a particular advantage, and why is it so cool to be surrounded by a group of people who are prepared for a zombie apocalypse? Well, I'll let you start this off if you like.
All right. Well, let's go with the top 4.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We can go forever and ever. So we're going to go with top 4. I'm going to go with, having a group of people. You've already got the communication down pat. Especially, I've known you for what, 10, 12 years now?
Yeah.
I think I know you fairly well, and you know me fairly well. So our communication's already going to come fairly natural, and even if we have a difference of opinion, it's not going to be who's going to shoot who first. I'm going to trust you to watch my back, you're going to trust me to watch yours. Secondly, I think our next biggest advantage is we've taken the time, we've watched for warning signs, again, CDC, Florida. Though Florida has an excuse. It is Florida.
Wow. I won't go there.
I'm not a huge fan of Florida. Giant cockroaches. That's it.
So, yeah.
But we watch for the warning signs. We've taken the time to prep for it.
And my 2 specific reasons, as he was saying, watching for warning signs, and prepping. Prepping is the big thing. You have to prepare yourself for what the zombie apocalypse is, and prepping doesn't just include gear and training, it includes an action plan. So there's 3 steps to preparing for a zombie apocalypse. It's securing food, water, a bug-out bag, things that you need to defend yourself and or move to a location to defend yourself.
And knowing what kind of location to go to, which is why we do the role playing.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call it a game. It's more like scenario writing.
Yeah, so you have that option there. So like I said, it's a 3-pronged attack as far as being prepared for a zombie apocalypse. You have to prepare yourself physically with training. You have to prepare yourself mentally with scenarios and how to plan for the right things, and you have to have the right tool for the right job. So those are the 3 things that you have to do as far as that's concerned. And my other thing would have to be is to pick your bug out location and along with that, whom you allow in your group. So like my bug out location is back in my dad's hometown in Missouri. It's a small town, low population density, means low volume of zombies. I probably have enough ammo to kill if everyone in the town would turn into a zombie except for my family, I could take out every zombie in town, with the ammo I have alone. So that makes me feel pretty good knowing that there's other people out there that has ammo also. So as a group, we can clear out the town and it's cool. So between friends, family, and people I'm bringing with me, like my buddy here and his family, we've got a small little fire team going on, that we can go in and take out the stuff we need to take out. And you only take on survivors if you're coming from a point of authority. If I go in and save somebody that's surrounded by zombies, and they've been in there and they're starving, they're thirsty, they're scared.
They're unarmed.
Yeah, you know, or even if they are armed, they may only have something like, you know, something like that, or a kitchen knife.
Or even worse.
Yeah, or maybe just a pocket knife, or a combat knife, or something, or a kitchen knife. You know. Okay, a little bit of technical difficulty there, kind of cut us off in the middle of my sentence. So yeah, if they have like a shotgun even, but if they are inept in defending themselves, then you can take them on. So let's go ahead and hop into the next thing. We went into how we think it's going to happen. We went into preparedness.
The advantage.
Yeah, the advantage and why it's so cool being around a group of people. We went into that. The last thing is our zombie kill maneuvers with like our melee weapons. So we're down to the final straw. We're out of ammo and all of our guns, so we're just down to what we got.
Now, you did bring up something you were asking me about.
Yeah, I was going to say, before we do that, we want to showcase one other thing that's important. Because if you're going to be down to the wire and you're going to be doing melee things,
Armor is important.
it's a very important thing.
Now, I wouldn't necessarily call what I'm wearing armor. It's a motorcycle jacket.
But it's bite protection.
Oh, very much so, against road rash. It's nylon and Kevlar mesh. It has a very unique property to it. I went ahead and took these out of mine that I'm currently wearing right now. Mind you, these don't affect my mobility at all. But these are hard rubber. It's going to take a little bit to chew through these, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I wouldn't want to turn my teeth up on them.
And it would certainly prevent me some pain, at least in the main portions. Around the outer edges, maybe not so much. But, and they make them for these types of jackets for different sizes. I mean, such as Sean, like that really doesn't cover too much of Sean here. But, this being the shoulder piece, it covers down almost all the way to my elbow, and then Sean would. The elbow piece actually covers down where the shoulder piece stops most of the way down my forearm. Even though they can bite into the nylon, yeah, it's definitely going to hurt.
Well, actually, leave that up for a second, and then I'll bring up my point is, you know, you can always add what I make into the equation, and then you pretty much have full coverage. I go a little old school, a little new school, even though they probably can't bite through this, but you know they can't bite through that. So you get your bracers and your motorcycle jacket, a little bit of both.
I mean, they're not really going to make it through the nylon too quickly. Now they're going to chew through both. But I mean, even either way, once they're chewing on you, again, you just resort to your old school friend. Put a couple rounds in their face. Be done with it.
Yeah, so,
And get some medical treatment for yourself.
Right. But yeah, here's a little bit of this. Now, I guess we're going to look really silly for you now and put on a show and do some maneuvers that you were wanting to see in the melee thing. So let's go ahead and do that. Now,
Mind you, we have to move so I don't take out anything attached to a ceiling, because this thing sort of does have a little bit of reach.
Yeah.
So we're going to move to a safer zone.
So without further ado, we're going to move to a safe location. Okay, guys, I'm going to give you 3 different options here. As you can see, we're at a different location with a breezeway in my apartments. The first option is going to be called the bristly option. So, in a zombie survival situation, boom, boom, bam, bam. Oh yeah. So that's the bristly option. So you have nunchucks for your bristly option.
Make sure you're well practiced in martial arts.
Yeah, make sure you have years of practice with that. Second option, you have your traditional zombie slaying device, your machete. Okay, that's your next one. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, your Shaun of the Dead option. It's a straight up raw power. Slow motion. Bam. This can't be any hammered to the noggin. Boom.
Well, that's questionable. Alright, you saw his Bruce Lee option. So the miniature version of what I'm choosing to go. And of course you saw the sloppy hammer version of what he wants to go with.
Opinions vary.
And maybe. All of which work. Well, maybe not the Bruce Lee option, but
Well, it's a typical force there. Probably kill one or two before they break.
you better have some sturdy nunchucks. I prefer my option. Just straight out. You can baseball swing it. You can come down. Or you can go for the decapitation. All of which work. And it ain't gonna quit. No ammo required.
Well, now you've seen both of our options. There's just a few things to think about, and there's plenty of other options out there too.
Oh yeah, don't forget the baseball bat.
Yeah,
That's
baseball
an
bat
awesome
with 16 penny nails.
Excellent option.
Yeah,
Works just as well as the sword.
So my personal thing would be like some type of a hammer with like a spike on the end of it, so it goes in and out a little bit smoother than just bashing skull. So I have a more preferred option, but I haven't built that yet.
A little less messy to it.
A little less messy, yeah. No explosion of zombie brains everywhere, just a hole in, hole out. Or you can go No Country for Old Men and just walk around with a freaking bolt gun, pump, plump, plump, plump. You know, that'd be okay too.
But alright, you've seen the options, you've heard us. The rest is up to you.
And if you need any help, always refer back to the sites and always comment. And as always, don't forget, look down below, see that subscribe button, click on it.
We're here to help you.